Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Culinary Wellness Wisdoms. So last week I talked about Thanksgiving, and the most important thing to take away from that was that celebration of togetherness. Now, the great food side of it can be very subjective to some people, because a lot of those the traditional dishes of Thanksgiving and a lot of other celebrations are very rich foods. So I shared a recipe for hot spinach dip. Well, that's a very rich dish, and cheese, being dairy, is a trigger food for many people. It's very tasty. There's a lot of things in it that really tick the boxes as far as an indulgent food is concerned. But for many people, it's just not worth the risk of eating it, whether that's an allergy or an intolerance. And we really need to respect that. It's like, for me, those dairy is a trigger. It's not an allergy for me. It's an intolerance when I'm bad with the symptoms of Crohn's disease. So there's things that I can eat when I'm good, and in the past I've just eaten them like someone who hasn't got any problems would eat them. What I've learned to do now is to respect that I do have an intolerance. And even if I'm good with the symptoms of Crohn's disease and I can eat them without any symptoms, if I eat too much, then I do get a trigger. So nowadays I eat very little dairy. I eat some cheese, but I do limit it. If I eat too much, I actually start feeling sick. So that shows me that there is definitely a reaction in my body. So very small amounts I can enjoy them. If I push it too far, then my body starts reacting, and it's tuning into your body. And there's many different things that cause triggers, and you can go ahead and just eat them, but you're going to suffer. And that suffering, if you do it on an ongoing basis, it triggers the immune system. And that immune system, if it keeps getting triggered by these foods that the immune system has a problem with, then that's going to lead to inflammation. And then you're going to find yourself having persistent symptoms, whether that be bloating, abdominal pain, some sort of acid reflux, diarrhea, constipation. And it's because your body's telling you, I have a problem with this, and you're not listening to it. So really tune into your body and really listen to what it's saying, because it's a lot of the time we are warned. It gives us these warnings as we go, and it's us that keep pushing it and keep pushing it. And it's changing the mindset, because for a long time, I'm like, well, it's not fair. Why can't everybody else eat this and I can't? Well, it's just the way it is. And it's having to accept that, and then making changes in my choices so that I'm not triggering those symptoms. So I've made a lot of different changes, and some of the time the biggest and the hardest times in order to maintain these changes is at times of celebration. You're going around maybe visiting someone's house and you have no control, or you don't think you have any control over what they're putting into the dish. Well, there's many things that you can do. That one is talk to them, you know, explain what is going on with you, explain to them what you can and you can't eat. Now, it's not about changing the whole menu, but having some dishes that you can eat without any problems. I talked about potlucks, and potlucks for certainly celebrations I think are a great idea. You know, everyone brings their own dish, and a lot of the time in Costa Rica I would go to an event and it was a bit of Russian roulette, but I could control that Russian roulette by taking something that I knew I could eat. So I would take that there, I knew I could eat that, and then I could have a look at what else was there and decide what was worth taking the risk over. There were clear ones that I wouldn't touch, but then there were others, and it is a bit of Russian roulette. But if you know the people, if you're going around to a dinner party or something, you can ask, well, what is in this? So maybe you can ask them, can I bring a dish? Can I bring a dish that will complement your meal, but I know that I can eat? If you're going out to a restaurant, phone ahead, you know, speak to the restaurant. A lot of these restaurants, they want you to have a good experience, and a number of the chefs are often quite accommodating in trying to cater to your culinary needs. So yeah, do phone ahead and explain to them, you know, what you can and what you can't eat, and ask them what could they do for you. But a lot of it is also discipline. It's knowing what doesn't work for you and making the right choices. And this celebration times of year, they are always difficult. But if you can gear yourself up with taking food that you can eat, speaking to your friends, party people, the restaurants, finding something that you can eat, so then you can enjoy that celebration, which is where I started, that togetherness. Because coming away from these events with, you know, debilitating symptoms, it's not fun. I mean, my symptoms can trigger within 10 minutes of me eating something. So if I ate the wrong thing at the beginning of a party, then I would be in so much pain for the rest of the event, and it's not much fun. Symptoms may not trigger until the following day, but again, it's like, is that cost worth it? Over and above making a decision at the time, right, okay, yeah, I'm better off leaving this, but I can eat that. We are all beautifully different. And yes, somebody can eat it. So let's talk about that hot spinach dip. Someone will be able to eat that with no problems whatsoever. Someone else, like me, can eat it in small quantities at specific times on my health journey. Someone else wouldn't be able to eat it at all because it triggers them without doubt every single time. But that's a rich dish. So it's not just the people who have the sensitivities that need to think whether or not they should be eating it. But someone who has no problems also should be thinking, okay, this is a dish that's high in cholesterol. I should minimize what I'm eating here. Everything in moderation. So do consciously think about what you're eating. I 100% support the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, eat stuff that is good and healthy for you. Up to 20% of the time, allow yourself a little indulgence. But be intuitive with it and choose the things that you know you can eat. Choose small amounts, don't overdo it and spoil it with getting some symptoms. All right, so I look forward to seeing you next week. And please remember, like the video and share it with anyone who you think will be of value. That would be really useful for me. All right, thanks very much and take care and have a great week.